for the food truck rodeo here in Durham, and boy, was that fun. If you live in another city and you have food truck rodeos, or if you have food trucks and they haven't um, uh, coordinated their operations, I suggest you check this out. In other words, you take, you all set up in a park or whatever. You all pitch your money in and pay a DJ or, a band or whatever, and it's a party. It was so fun. Now, if you'd like to be a guest here on TV Skywriter, I'm looking for creative souls, artists, musicians, authors, just cool people. You can just send email to durhamskywriter@gmail.com. Now, today we have a very special guest here. We have Frank White, and he is from Whitecap Solutions here in Durham, North Carolina. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you are I think of you as a super knowledgeable computer guru type guy. And
Thank you.
but here's the thing. I know that you have to pick up someone from the airport. So this is going to be like a half-hour show. But I would like to invite you back, and we can talk at length, okay? But I just want to let the people know that we'll probably have to cut this at 7:30 so you can run to the airport and pick up whoever you're picking up. Okay, now we're going to talk about computer stuff, okay? So the first thing I want to ask you about is computer safety.
All right.
I read somewhere that you could be in a coffee shop innocently using your computer, and somebody else in the coffee shop can somehow steal your information. And I don't even know, how would they get on your computer?
That's true. When you connect to a coffee shop Wi-Fi, then you're actually sharing the internet with other computers. Now, if you tend to use your computer at your office to share data with another computer, or at home to share data with another computer, then what you often would do is create a open port so that data can come and go both ways. And if you forget to close that port and you go to a coffee shop and that port is still open, then I can see your computer if I'm on that coffee shop network also.
Okay,
and it's possible.
What port are you talking about?
A port is in Windows it's called a shell. And I'm sure that if you ever clicked on a file, then you may have seen the word sharing. If you ever right-clicked on a file, and you get a sub menu, and it's usually open, edit, along with some other choices, and one of your choices may be sharing. If you've never shared files and you've got your ports, you have never opened any Windows shells, then you probably don't have anything to worry about.
Okay.
There are some people who are fairly sophisticated who can actually install software on your computer without a share being open, and try to gain access that way. But that's
okay. Here's the thing. Okay, so when I'm at the coffee shop, I can see my hard drive. Would I be able to see somebody else's hard drive?
If you know how to use Windows sharing, and that person has their computer shareable, then you should be able to browse that person's hard drive.
Oh, that's terrible. That means they can browse mine.
But Windows, that's an activity, that's a setting that you actually have to turn on. It's always turned off by default. Okay. And most people don't set up shares unless they know what they're doing. So chances are, John Q. owner of a computer have never tried to do any sharing, and those settings are turned off. So, historically and traditionally, it has not really been a big thing. Um, but it is possible. So
Okay, I thought I'd ask because somebody told me that and
you know,
naturally terrified me. So
what you don't want to do is use the corporate company's laptop at a coffee shop unless your corporate IT department has actually um, given you the necessary safeguards to share pretty safely. And with that said, now it's one of the things that I don't want to do is alarm people so that they feel like, well, oh man, I can't check my bank account from my computer. Uh, if you ever go to a site that you have to disclose secure information, your social security number, your credit card information, that it's imperative that you see that little lock in your browser.
okay,
And today's browsers have tried to make that little lock pretty easy to see, so that lock tells you that you have created a secure channel to that other site, and the data that goes through that channel is encrypted. So even if I can see that data, I can't read it.
okay,
Okay, so that
okay.
means that if that all you need to know is if I'm doing banking or filling out a form that I got to put my personal information on, like my social security number, as long as I got that little lock, even if somebody is smart enough to grab that information from the internet, they still can't read it. Okay?
Wow. Okay, okay. Well, that's good. That's good. I just thought I'd have you clear that up for us. Now, you wanted to talk about VoIP, and let's see, I have it written down here. Voice over Internet Protocol.
Voice over
And
Internet Protocol, voice over
that's
IP.
okay. And I think that's what Google Voice is, right?
Yeah, and it virtually just about every phone that we use today is a VoIP phone in some form or fashion. If you
Okay,
connect,
explain what that is.
okay. Um, well, first let me kind of talk about what a telephone, what the analog system is. The
Okay.
old systems use analog systems rather than digital signals rather than digital signals,
Hmm.
and it required that the voice travel over those little thin copper wires that we're also familiar with in our telephone
Right.
line. Okay, um, and voice cannot travel over those. Let's see, voice cannot travel over the internet in an analog fashion. Um, I don't. If you think of if to kind of give you a oversimplistic difference between analog and digital, if you think of a clock, where when it
Hmm.
tells you the time, it shows you a readout. 1, 2, 3
Sure.
for 123. Whereas a analog clock will show you the sweep hand where you can see
Right.
it sweeping
Uh-huh.
and it moves very slowly.
Uh-huh.
That's an analog system signal.
Okay.
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 But what VoIP is well the analog systems are the old systems that Mom Bell used to operate, and they cost a ton of money to move your voice uh, from one point to the next, uh,
Okay.
which is why it costs so much to make a long distance call. The further your voice is moved, then the more equipment, the more manpower, the
Hmm.
higher the cost is to get it to go that to the signal. Well,
Okay.
as you know, with digital technology, you can access a website clear across the world and for no extra cost. So somebody came up with the idea, well, why don't we figure out a way to to compress that voice into a digital signal? That way we can send it over the internet to some point where it can be decompressed and and people can hear it on a regular phone,
Okay.
which is what voice over IP does.
Okay.
Um, so with voice over IP, I can make a call to California, to Chicago, to New York, to Bahama, for the same price that I would make a call to my neighbor next door.
And that's because the signal is digitized.
That exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So it travels over the internet. It travels over the the modem. Will the signal is coded, it's compressed, digitized, and sent over the internet, whereas decompressed and expanded so that you can hear it.
I can't imagine it would be faster. I mean, it's fast either way. Analog, digital, they're both fast, right?
Right. Right. In
So there's
fact,
no difference there.
right. In fact, yeah. The signals move at speeds that are phenomenal. So we get very little lag in talking via the internet.
So the big difference then is price.
Yeah. With in addition to the voice, then other services can be attached to that service. Other features can be attached to that service that really does not add any additional cost to the carrier
Hmm.
to provide those services, like call waiting, call forwarding, um, three-way calling, and some of the other services that we are becoming accustomed to. So, in a nutshell, that's WARP. And everybody, almost everybody, except a lot of the elderly people who have just not um, called their phone company and said, "Hey, I want to upgrade to the VoIP services," are using VoIP. Um,
So
VoIP
is this what people are substituting now? I mean, I'm hearing that people are getting rid of their what they call their landline, their old-fashioned telephone. Maybe I shouldn't say old-fashioned, but the plug-in, and people are now using cell phones
Well,
and
cell phones is a different
and
technology. VoIP allows people to use their old phone equipment, the same old landline that they had.
oh, okay, I wasn't
Right, right.
understanding that. Okay.
So, VoIP allows you to, if you've used Time Warner's digital phone service, or if you've got a Frontier bundle, um, and the easiest way to determine whether or not you have a VoIP service attached to to a VoIP feature attached to your service is whether or not you have to pay for your long distance calls. If
Oh, okay.
if if you can call New York, Atlanta, or any other city outside your local toll area for free, then chances are you have a VoIP service.
Okay. Okay.
Now, with that said, some services at extra cost to the carrier will cripple the long distance calling features so that they can charge it back to you as an add-on. Time Warner a history of doing this. They actually spend more money to make their services charge you to be able to call long distance than they would spend if they didn't block the long distance. But
Okay,
they
so
do.
explain how that works. So, in
Okay.
other words, you should be able to make free calls, but you cannot. Is that what you're saying?
One of the levels of Time Warner's VoIP services is they give, I think they call it Local Carolina, where they allow you to call anywhere in North or South Carolina for free. But if you call Georgia, then you have to pay a extra money,
Hmm.
um, because and I think they have figured out a way to meter it so that they can just make extra money on something that doesn't cost them. It actually costs them extra money to block the service so that
Wow.
you can't call Atlanta as it would as if they didn't. But they make up for it because they figured out, well, we can charge you if you call Atlanta or New
Mm-hmm.
York or Chicago or any other service, a place outside this service that you are paying for. They like to refer to it as tiered services, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's more of a marketing campaign for them and a way for them to dig deeper into your pocket. But
So what package would be smart? I mean, I know you don't represent Time Warner, but
I
for a
would
person just
recommend,
now finding this out, what should they do about it?
well, I would recommend that anytime you get if you have a carrier that, you can ask them, is this a VoIP service? You know, and if they don't know what VoIP is, which I'm sure they do, but if you get a representative who sounds as if she don't know what VoIP is, then ask her, is my signal being carried by the internet? And if they say yeah, then ask them, tell them that you want to make sure that you get the service that allow you to call any place in the United States for free. Um, with that said,
Now, would all phone companies have this, or would they tell you that they don't have that service?
most
Even though
phone
they
companies,
might, I mean, it might be possible technically speaking, but do they all offer it?
most, yeah, they all offer it. They
So
all
you have to know
offer
to
it.
ask for it.
Well, if 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 you say, well, I'm just going to get the, particularly with Time Warner, and I'm sure there are other companies, but in this market, particularly with Time Warner, if you say, well, I'm just going to get the cheapest digital phone service they got, then you may not get nationwide calling, nationwide long distance. Um,
So depending on how many calls you make to other states, it might be smarter to go with the more expensive package.
it it might be smarter to go with the more expensive package, but the point that I'm making is that these companies could give you nationwide. It actually costs them more on the service on one level to block the calling so that they can charge you
Hmm.
uh, to call long distance. Then I mean that was the point that I was originally making.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, if it might, what would be smart is to shop around for a voice over internet protocol company or VoIP company or digital
Hmm.
telephone company, all the same
Hmm.
thing, that will allow you to make long distance calls for all one price. One of the ones that I've been using for years now is one called Vonage. I'm sure you've seen that
I've
television
seen the commercials. Yeah.
commercials. And they are pretty good voice voice over IP company.
Hmm.
They allow you to call pretty much anywhere in the world with the service. And with some countries, most countries, well, some countries it's free, and
Hmm.
other countries you will have to pay a toll call, but it's
Sure.
cheaper than it's often cheaper or as cheap as any other calling service.
Okay.
Um, and I think earlier we had talked about a little bit about Netflix, uh,
Yeah.
and you had a question or two about Netflix and if
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that because we were talking on the phone the other day, and I was saying how I was trying to save money, and right now I get cable TV.
mhm,
Well, I'm sorry, it's not called cable. It's Dish Network.
mhm,
And I originally was getting cable TV. I discovered that the channels that I usually watch, I could get a similar package with Dish Network and save a lot of money. Okay.
mhm,
And then I was hearing about people who were getting rid of Dish Network and cable and all of that and switching to Netflix.
mhm.
And I was saying, that sounds interesting, but the problem is I don't want to give up my computer because I'm assuming Netflix comes over your computer. See, I live alone.
What Netflix?
Okay, I'm usually at my computer with the TV on. I'm
Uh-huh.
never really watching the TV. It's just keeping
Uh-huh.
me company.
Uh-huh.
So I can't give up my computer because I never sit and watch TV. The only time I really watch TV is when I'm ironing. Otherwise, it's going on and I glance up if there's a car crash or somebody screams, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if switching to Netflix would work for me because I can't afford to give up my computer screen.
Well, Netflix is nothing more than a service. It's a internet service. So
Hmm.
it's uh it's a web it's it's a website. That's what Netflix is. It's a
Okay.
website. And what that website does is it will send video or a video signal to your computer. And that's called streaming.
Okay.
So, so rather than stream a just static page, a page to just look there and you have to read, then they have figured out how to send movies to your computer.
Okay.
Okay, so now if television, on the other hand, um, has programming that 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 give you choice. I mean, you can switch from channel A to channel B,
Sure.
TV, channel 11 in this market to channel 5 to channel 17. If you've got for the local stations, depending on which carrier you got. If you got Time Warner cable, then the numbers may be different, but
Hmm.
it's all NBC, ABC, CBS. Well, Netflix wouldn't give you the opportunity or the ability to tune into those channels.
Oh
Okay,
yeah. Hmm.
all you get are the movies on demand that they offer. So basically, you
Hmm.
could tune in to that website, find a movie, or for that matter, a TV show, and stream it into your computer. But the cool
Yeah.
thing about Netflix is you don't always have to stream it into your computer. You can have it with the newer TVs. You can have the signal come directly to your television.
Okay, so if you get rid of your cable or your dish network, how
Now,
does it get to your TV?
okay, the the newer TVs have the capability of connecting to your internet. Okay,
Oh.
so if you have a television or a box, in my case, I use a Blu-ray box that I have an internet cable connected to stream in my Netflix on my large screen TV.
Okay.
If you have such a setup, then you can watch Netflix on your large screen TV. Now, mind you,
Okay.
this is just a website
Hmm.
um, showing you a movie on demand. That means that you get to decide when the movie starts and when the movie ends,
Hmm.
just like you would pay per view. Um, that it comes in on your television. Now,
Okay.
so if if I chose that for my entertainment for my television entertainment solution, then I still could watch the news, but I would have to find a website that I can get my news on.
Okay.
And
Because I know WRAL always talks about how you can go online and watch the news
exactly,
from their website. So I
exactly,
guess conceivably I could go to WRAL and watch the news from there.
exactly.
And when I want to watch a TV show, I could stream it. The only thing is, I have one of those big old fat TVs, and I don't have a way for the TV to get online.
Right.
But
So,
I did read that people who have Wii and those games, those
right.
video games, that they
Right.
can somehow
Yeah.
they get the signal.
That's because you can plug
uh,
your internet cable into your Wii.
Okay, okay, okay,
And we is a little bit it's a really small computer that will change that computer into a signal that can be shown on your TV.
That's amazing. So I would have to invest in a new TV and maybe something like a Wii game. I don't know. So I guess I'm not ready to do this just yet, but it's something to think about.
Yeah, you would have to have internet-capable equipment.
Yeah. So I guess anybody who's in my shoes wanting to save money would have to really think about this pretty carefully, because right now I'm paying about a little bit over $60 a month for Dish Network. Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to get one of the new, you said big screen, but I'm sure any of the little flat screen TVs would work, right? 15,
well,
21
I said I was
inch.
using a big screen, but any
yeah, like 21-inch TV. It doesn't have to be gigantic.
Right.
Because like I said, I'm not really watching.
Any internet-capable device, output device, like a television, just like your computer monitor is an output device, so it's a television. So if you can, as long as you can send that video signal to your television, then you can watch what's on the internet on your television. In fact, I can watch YouTube on my television, which is really cool sometimes.
Okay, so to save money, someone in my shoes would have to think, okay, I'm paying $60 a month, but I'd have to invest in a new TV. Then they would probably have to figure out the cost of a television. For example, I know that I can probably get a flat screen TV for $179. Which is, a few months of Dish Network. So that same cost, I'd have to invest in a television, and then perhaps at that time I'd be ready to make the switch, knowing that Netflix is about, what, $8 or $9 a month, I believe, to subscribe to it?
Yeah, that's about right. $8 or $9 a month. But you also, there are some other considerations that you would want to make. One of the questions that you want to ask, does Netflix provide programming that I'm interested in? One thing about Netflix is they do have a pretty vast library of programming. But if you're into reality TV, then you may not get a lot of reality shows.
I didn't even think about the programming. I just assumed they had everything, but they don't?
No, they don't have everything.
Ooh. Okay.
And my guess is you may be able to go to Netflix.com and kind of look at what they offer. I'm not sure whether or not you can or can't, but I guess for your viewers who are watching this broadcast, that would tend to indicate that they have access to a computer and the internet. So,
sure. Well, another thing to look at, you said Netflix, but also Hulu.com. That's another service that I was reading about, that people are switching over to Hulu also.
And I wouldn't say that people are actually switching. I would say people are supplementing more than they are switching.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have heard, though, on sometimes I frequent those boards where people are trying to pinch pennies and whatnot and save money here and there. And there are some people who are actually switching because they are, like me, in austerity mode and in great need to save money and to squeeze as much out of what money you have as possible. So there are some people who are actually making the switch.
Yeah, I mean,
and some people who have kids and they already have a Wii or a Game Boy or Xbox, whatever, are now using that to watch, Hulu and Netflix.
Okay.
That's what I was reading. So someone like me, I'd have to actually invest in a new TV or something like that in order to use the service.
The path that I did was, just because you get a flat. Well, one thing that you mentioned flat screen. Just because you get a flat screen television does not necessarily mean that flat screen television is internet capable. And
I better make sure, huh?
Actually, to be honest with you, most televisions are not internet capable, but usually, like you said, it's the box that they can connect to, like the Wii that you can
Mm-hmm.
connect. The Wii is usually internet capable, or your
Mm-hmm.
Blu-ray, which a Blu-ray is a DVD type player, um,
Okay.
and they play the Blu-rays, or even some of the DVD players, some of the newer DVD players are internet capable,
Hmm.
and they automatically give you the opportunity to stream in um, Netflix or Hulu. Pandora is another
Mm-hmm.
service
Yeah, I've heard that.
that they
Mm-hmm.
tend to provide. Most of them will provide direct access to YouTube so that you can
Mm-hmm.
watch YouTube on those devices. So yeah, even if you don't get an internet capable television, as long as you get an internet capable device, um, like a Wii, a Blu-ray, DVD player, then you'll be okay.
Okay. Now I know you have to go, but real quick, tell us what you do at Whitecap Solutions and give your contact information.
Okay, Whitecap Solutions is basically a business to business service net uh, entity. Now, what we do is we provide several services, including website development and design. We also provide uh, um, PBX systems, virtual hosted PBX systems, which which is um, which is those type telephones that companies use, that they go press one for this or press two, but
Mm.
for that department. I know a lot of us, including me, hate those things, but to be honest with you, they do a really good job at routing calls if you want to get your call to the right person without having to get put on hold and
Mm-hmm.
hold for 5 minutes while the operator locates the person. Um, and Microsoft Outlook hosted exchange is another service that we offer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're if you are in a business that you need secure and specialized email services, uh, then that's one of the services that we provide.
Okay.
We manage our own equipment, so we have our own servers, which means that we don't rely on GoDaddy or some large hosting company. We don't buy their services and repackage it and sell it like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the other companies do. Uh, if there are ways to tell how many websites are found on servers, and on some servers, I find as many as 11,000 websites on pointing to one server. With Whitecap, we certainly don't overtask our servers.
Okay. Okay. So how do people get in contact with you, Frank?
Um, Good question. The best way to contact us is to visit our website, whitecapsolutions.com, and click on the contact us and send us contact us via email. However, if you do want to contact me directly, then my telephone number is area code 919-317-7600.
Okay. Do you have clients outside of the area, outside of Durham?
I do have web hosting customers all across the country. So yeah.
Oh, impressive. Okay. Well, I know you have to go to the airport, so thanks a whole lot, Frank, for being on the show. And that's Frank White from Whitecap Solutions. And you told me that it's IT solutions for individuals and small businesses. Is that right?
There you go.
Okay. Thanks a
Okay.
lot, Frank.
Thanks, Pat.
Absolutely. So, folks, if you'd like to be on TV Skywriter, this is live, and this is definitely live on Sundays. Later in the spring or summer, I might have to move it back an hour because sometimes I DJ in Durham Central Park, um, it's in downtown Durham, North Carolina. Still not sure what the schedule is going to be, but for now, just contact me at Durham Skywriter at gmail.com if you want to be on the show. I especially want to hear from musicians and artists, also writers, because they're after my own heart. Okay, with that, ciao. See you next Sunday. Have a great week.